Hello, my name's Musa, and in this episode we'll be making this a playful twist on a pricing table using the Giphy API. As you can see down here, prices change dynamically, yearly being cheaper and monthly being more expensive over the year. Therefore the GIFs in the background reflect on the pricing. Go for a few more. Also, this is responsive, so I have no issues with mobile. Now, I will expect you to know basic JS DOM manipulation, fetch and async await for dealing with third-party IPAs, Sass basics, but you can use CSS if you want. Also, I'll be using Visual Studio Code live server extension to stop cause issues, also known as invalid authentication credentials, for the Giphy API. So if you have any issues with the obtaining the API, the reason why I'm not is because I'm using live server. You can use a proxy server if you want, or whatever solution you personally use. So yeah, should be a good episode. Let's get started. Right, to get started with the Giphy API, you need to go over to Giphy Developer on Google. Should be the first one. Get started. I've already made an account, so I don't need to make one. Create an app. Select API. It's going to call test 2. Learning. Then, yeah, I'm going to delete this one because I'm not going to use it. So now we've got the API. I'll show you the course files, which is script.js for our JavaScript, index.html for our HTML, and we have the files, the folder for the CSS, which we have main, then the main's feeding all these because we're using underscore. They're getting fed through to the main because we're using underscore. I'm also using live Sass compiler. That's how it's letting me use it. I need to start it up. Start it up now. Using live server to run this index.html. And we got script. Let me just check something on the. So we got boilerplate. We're using emit for that, and that should. Yeah, that's fine now. Yeah, let's get started with the default CSS. So I'm just gonna copy this bit and saving me from doing my standard default. So it's just padding, 0 margin, 0 box sizing, border box. HTML is just font size 16 Arial. Then we're going to add in all these other files. Then, as the underscore, like I said, we'll feed it through to this one as a main. Save that. Then for the variables, as in the mix-ins and what have you, I'm going to copy these in. So this is the blue we're going to be using. The white for dynamic, light grey here, and dark grey for the text and what have you. And we're using mobile. So if we look at this one, for mobile, sort of see the responsiveness of this. Okay, Let's start with the HTML. So we'll go main container. We're going to have a BG for the background, so that's how this background's enabled. As in this div known as we call background will be where the actual gifs will be, which will be added through the JavaScript. Then we have the overlay, which is everything else on top. So we have overlay. Then we have, let's stop this. Header. We have a button inside, which I'm going to call stop. Then the button's going to be called name stop. So there we are. I'm going to zoom into this page so we can see. Then we have the toggle container, which is this, which I'm going to call toggle container. Then we've got a H1 for the title. Pricing, title, let me just see if live SAS is working, because this should be. I have not really added it. Let's just add CSS. We call it, because this directory I've created through live SAS. I've created a setup for a directory. I might actually do an episode on that in the near future. Main.css, and we're going to call it's in the CSS directory. There we are, sorted. Right, so we need a toggle wrapper. With an input for the checkbox, so we're using the checkbox functionality of input. Give it an ID. We don't need a name. ID is for the reference for the label. Toggle checkbox. Then we have this label for this. So let's just copy this. And inside it, we're going to have the circle here. We want a span. There's many ways to do this actually, but this way suited mine because we wanted to click these as well. Right. So that sorted now. onto the JavaScript to get a response for the input fields. Before we go any further, I need to add the script to the index.html. So and I forgot to add a class to the label. Which is toggle. Alright, that should be sorted now. So we go to script, now we're just gonna, like I said, we're gonna get the checkbox data. Then we do the callback. So this is essentially waiting for the DOM content to load. As I said on the script, on the tin. So we want, I'm going to tack these onto one const. So I'm just getting the query select. Yeah. I'm gonna get the input now. Import type is checkbox. I'm also going to add the API key, so we can get started. API key in a string. Then we're going to listen to changes to the checkbox. So we're going to do checkbox. Tack on add event listener. Just change. I'm going to do a callback function. Func. If checkbox checked, console log checkbox checked, else. So true if it's ticked, false if not. That's sort of the general gist of this all. Alright, so now we want two asynchronous functions to fetch the data from the API. So let's do const. I'm going to call a good one, positive one, good func. Just going to use a callback function. Arrow function. So and I'm also going to use a try catch for the fetch data. Try catch. If there's any errors, console log the errors. Alright, then I'm going to just going to call this after. Now we want to get the response stream. Response, wait, fetch. I'm doing backticks actually, because we're gonna dynamically get data from it. Giphy API. So what we want is, if we go into docs, endpoints, we want search. So that's what we want. So we want HTTPS standard procedure. Oh, we don't want search actually. We want. Do we want search? Yeah, we do. And then here explains it pretty well. So we want API key, which we want to add what we added up here. Because we're using backticks, we can okay. Then we want, what else do we want from the query string? We want query. By the way, this is key value pairs, so that's why you should always have that. Query, we're going to do, let's do happy. Then we're going to, with the response stream, we want to convert it into JSON. So response to JSON. Let's see what we get. Successful. Now we've got the data. So we get 50, 0 based, as per usual. You want to get into the, where do we want it from? We want data, as I looked at, images, original, then the URL. That's essentially what we want to get. So just bear that in mind. Right. Where to next? So same process for bafunk. For the else. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. Let's change it up. Call it bad. Let's do what word? Shocked. Then yeah, shocked. I want to wait for it, blah blah blah, bafunk. So he's getting calls for each one. And this one's for, I don't know. Right, so next we want to add this. We want to sort out the toggle. So to sort out the toggle, we'll go into toggle.css and style it out. Now I'll explain what's happening after we sort of style it a bit. There we go, toggle pointer. Let's do the wrapper actually. So the whole wrapper. So inside the toggle wrapper we have, which is this bit here. We want to, I'm going to show you the actual label because that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to change this up. So can't really see it right now, so we need to display a block and then position relative, so the toggle, the circle on top will behave as it does with 90 pixels. Might come apparent soon, I don't know. Oh yeah, because we don't have a background colour or anything. I'll just add a background colour. Let's just say red. There we are. So we're using the label as the toggle for the click, for the input. But actually what we're going to do is we're going to hide it. Sometimes you see people putting it behind, but it's just as effective if we hide it. Display none. So that's hidden it, but it still, as you can see, it still does the what it does. So we want border radius 84 pixels. Then we want border solid and light grey, as we put in our variable file. Two pixels. And the reason why it's not working is because we need to import it. Import var. Still doesn't like that because of light grey, because light grey is called light grey. Yep. Because we need a underscore. Right, so we've done the toggle nearly, so we just need to actually box size and content box, just so we can space it realistically. And then 700 for that's for the before and after. These. Alright, so now we need to do the circle. So we're going to do toggle. I'm going to tell you what's going on after this. Let's see what we got there. So we got the box now. So we're going to make a circle. We're going to make it fit. I mean, you style this however you want to sort of figure out for yourself how to position everything. We've got a circle now to position it because it's relative to this. We can do this transition or 300 milliseconds. There we are. Still nothing yet because still the mechanism is actually working. I'll show you. But just not kind of animated with the transition. So to make this move, you need to use a selector. Just going to copy and paste this. So this plus selector here. So the element plus and the element selector is used to select an element that is directly after another specific element. And actually a better illustration of this is with this. And I'll actually, what I'll do is actually I'll just do it first and I'll come back to this. So it's the input of this one here. So I'm just going to copy that. So the checkbox if checked plus as the one after NOV's after toggle, which is the label, handler, so the circle bit in the middle. We're going to move that on the x-axis 45 pixels. See how this works out. So it works. So what this is, if you go onto the CSS tricks explanation of it, is here we have the label not checked. We're targeting the label after it. So this way here. When it's checked, anything after that's a label will change style, and that's essentially what we're doing here. But I'll put this link down below, which explains it in more detail. Now we have the before and after, but before actually we do that, we're just gonna move it to center, maybe. Actually, we'll just add the before and after for these. Right, so we go toggle before, which is content. Monthly. I'm going to do this for the after as well. Bring it in a bit. Okay, now we're gonna bring it to the center. So what we're gonna do first is width of that. So padding 120 and 100. Then, so that's all we need to do now is add it into the toggle container, which is this whole bit, and center this. So we're going to do it down here, outside this. Actually should be above it. Or even toggle wrapper should be inside it. Yeah. Kind of center it, but it's not centered yet. It's way flex direction. Because we need to give it 300. There we are. Kind of centered. Oh, because we need to work on the text itself, and also we need to add media query to this. And just add it into mobile, because mobile, by the way, we've made 600. Yeah, that's much better now. Okay, now onto the JavaScript. Yeah. We zoomed in as well, so that's why it looks a bit different. Now onto the JavaScript. We need to add the background, because we're going to actually now add the GIF to the background from the API endpoint. BG and yeah, let's just do it on this one for now. BG style, no, background image. So we're using the style background for this. Dynamically add it in. If you see background image, it's usually your URL based. I'm gonna what I meant by that is I think you need to use URL for the background image. That's default. So we're getting data images, as I said before. URL. So that we need to add oh yeah, that's why. So I was looking at the wrong bit. Images, original, then the URL. So now we need to go to the into structure.css. Add this to the background now, as in this here. What we're going to do is actually overlay both using CSS grid to overlay. Oh no, we're using just your standard absolute and position fixed for the background, and the overlay would be absolute. So 0. There we are, woohoo, got it to the background now. So now we need to get a random number from the Giphy API, which we're going to put in the change just above the if. So I'm going to add const random num data. I'm going to use a math random. I'll just show you what this is going to do. It's giving us 35.2. So we need to floor it. I'll show you how to floor it now. Math, not floor. Then you get 32 round number. Now we need to add, so we're going to get a different number from the database, which we're going to assign to this bit here. I'm going to paste this as well down here for bad. Now we're going to add the words. So again, up here, we're just going to add random word data. Same thing, but we're just going to use 3 now because we're only going to use 3 words, but you can use as many as you want. So now we need to add the words. So inside of here, we're just going to add words. Inside of an array. Just going to stop this. Approve. Happy. And thumbs up. Alright. Same sort of process for bad. Words bad. And we're going to have sad. Again, you can just change these to whatever you want. Alright, and then inside here we're going to dynamically add these in. So we're going to add forms, I forgot what they call that, actually. Words good. Let's just do the same thing here. Words bad. Alright then, and we want out of the 3, so we want random word data. And again here, same thing. I spell random properly. And that should do it. Perfect. Right. Now we need to go into structure, and we're going to sort out the button, because as you can see, the button is a bit of a overlay to deal with. So we need to go into structure. We're going to add, I've called it a header. Well, it's in a header, the button. So we're just going to display flex. As you can see, and also we can change this to center or flex end. Just gives you options there. Now we need to style the button. So I'm just going to quickly go through this. Would be a lot easier, so just type in. Then we get in the blue. We set in the variables. Give it border none. See how it looks now. And we still can't click this because we need to bring it to the overlay structure to the front. So, but we need to make the main container, which is what the overlay and the background is in, to be position relative. So we need, bring it up here actually. That's to give everything a capitalized. Then for the overlay, we're going to have the position opposite, so it's going to be here. This overlay, wherever this, the button and toggle and all that. I'm going to put it top 0, left 0. Width give it a good amount of Z index and a height of 100. So now it's overlaid, and it become more apparent when we add the pricing table. Let's just see how this is now. Perfect. Still no interactivity of this, so we're going to do that next. Just below the if else, inside the, actually outside the change, we're going to add in. So we're going to do, first of all, we're going to add start button up here. Then we're going to add it as we said before. So now, when we start, we're going to add to the background style, background image, make it change to none. And that should do it. Yep. Alright. Now to the pricing table. So inside the overlay, but just underneath the toggle container, we're going to put it here. So we're going to have pricing tables. I'm going to have, let's do one column for now. Then inside here we're going to have, let's just refer back to the original. So we're going to style these up as like this. So we want the free starter button, subheading, and just some lorem ipsum. So we'll have an article for each individual one. Then inside the UL, I'll have I'm just going to copy this. Now I'm just going to copy this. So we get do all three. See how it looks. Yep, got all three. We just need to add in the different ones. So we need then this bit is going to be dynamically added. So we're going to add a span of recommended plan. I'm just going to do default right now. There's probably a lot of better ways to do this, but that's how I'm going to do it. Oh yeah, swap this over, get rid of this one, swap this. Alright, and that's it for the HTML, for all of it. Now to the styling of it. So we need to go to pricing table. Let's do the overall structure first. So we want pricing tables, margin. And inside this we want columns. See what it looks like now. That's beautiful. And you want for mobile, which is in the mixin, which is a mixin, sorry. Right, now we want to add inside the columns, we want to add the article, which is each different card. Light grey. Then we want border radius, pixels. Then we want now onto the titles. H2 now. Again, text align center. Now for the UL. The first one we're targeting here. And the blue from the we add it to the variables file. This is for these buttons here. Nearly done with the CSS. And there we are. Just need to sort out the recommended plans. So going to scripts, we want to add space here for us. Yeah, so we're just going to add in, tack on to loads of these DOM elements to the JavaScript. Righto. Then we need to add these in good func and bad func to dynamically change the pricing. And that's what we're doing here. We're targeting these here. Okay, so we need to go into good func and team plan in HTML. Yeah. And again. Gonna render plan. Two for the individual plan, and as you can see, our changes. But now we need to change it back. So inside of GovFunc, pretty much the same thing. Just gonna $12 for team. Now we need to deal with the color, so we need to tack on loads of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the words, and I'm just going to add we'll save them for now. Actually no, sorry, we need them. Right. Team plan, then we're on pricing card. We also want actually toggle color as well for the toggles. Before and after. Oh. Toggle. Pricing columns. Pricing title. And we want dark grey colour. And we want the white. And that should do it for all the stuff we need for the DOM. So now, inside the DOM content loaded, we're going to add it default colors, which is pricing card, pricing title, and I'm actually going to tack these on and make them dark grey. So they're going to be dark grey. This and that. The text. Alright. Already got that. Pricing cards. Toggle color. Are all going to be dark grey. Right, so next we're going to add it into when there's going to be a change, right? We're going to make it white. So now white. So in the stop button, when we press the stop button. By the way, I'm using a stop button because I couldn't figure out a way of kind of adding it in to the actual changes. So if anyone can actually figure out a way and send it that works properly after like 8 seconds, then please send it through. Nice. And yeah, that's it really. Everything's working fine. Let's check mobile. Yep, scrolling nicely. Yeah. And I'll be putting this on my GitHub, so please check that out, and other tutorials. And thank you for watching this. I'll see you next time.